Please note, this video features adults playing a fantasy role-playing game. Some language and imagery may not be suitable for younger viewers.
The wheels of time turn. From out of the darkness, the world finds magic. Magic gains power and control, but a new power rises to replace it. Science. The wheels of time turn. Science falls and magic rises. Magic rises and science falls. Down through the ages, until magic is broken and science is not restored. In the age of ebb and flow, a collector has arisen, gathering artifacts from the long-forgotten ages, intent on restoring magic to its rightful balance and repairing the damage done to the world. This is Berttra, a world of heroes, a world of villains, and of monsters.
Welcome back to the game, everyone. When we last left off, our party had dealt with a huge underwater creature and stopped its attempt to invade the realm. They had exited its lair and were quickly swimming back to the surface before their potions of water breathing ran out. With only moments to spare, we catch up with the party as they surface in the sea, not too far from Master Grun's boat. Let me get us a real map here. And you're all treading water and swimming there off the boat. Yes, Berttra took its head with her as well. As you come up to the surface of the water, as each one of your heads break water, most of you are using potions of water breathing, so there's no big deal. Fulmer, you can't breathe.
No, I think Fulmer
almost got that ring.
No, he's
Almost got that necklace.
Fulmer, you can't breathe when your head's above water.
I thought the necklace counteracted that.
No.
The necklace adaptation says you can only breathe in any environment, whereas the curse was you can only breathe underwater.
Then I guess I'm staying underwater.
So you quickly see Fulmer come up, go to take a deep breath, and go. His eyes bulge out, and he ducks back under the water.
Go clean some barnacles while you're down there.
I feel like if Grun was here, you could tell him to scrape the bottom of the ship.
Right, that's...
You know what I'd tell Grun.
So I just see a hand come up out of the water.
A part of a hand anyway.
So when your heads pop above water, I mean, you kind of aim for where Grun had the ship at last, and you could see it, where you're under the water as you're approaching. And as you surface, you're not too far from the ship, and Grun starts moving the ship, or preparing the ship to take you on board. Ladders go down, that sort of thing. What are you doing?
Swim to the ship.
I'm gonna float up. I should put my concentration icon back on. What one were we using for concentration again?
I don't remember.
I think I was using the little wing thing. I think I was using that.
That'll work. That'll work.
So levitating. Yeah. So I'll just kind of float up and be like just bobbing up above everyone else.
Okay.
That way he can really see where we're at, since the waves are probably splashing around and everything.
So as you get close to the ship there, Berttra, the crew has, they're throwing down lines to you guys and making ready to get you guys up on deck.
How tall is the boat from the water? About how high out of the water is it?
Let me look at a picture of the Chase Knight to make sure I can tell you properly. It's actually not that bad. Probably maybe 5 or 6 foot with the gunnels, the way it's built.
Alright, I like to just hang off the edge and then chuck the head up and then just help some people up, just like plonk them on the deck.
So Berttra goes up to the deck, latches one handle and heaves this thing's head on the deck, and it goes rolling across the deck. Grun starts sputtering about clean that mess up, and why is there a fish head on my deck?
Cuz, it's evidence. Duh.
Why is it on my deck? I don't think I have a pickle jar that big.
No, alas, I don't have a pickle jar that big either.
We might have a barrel.
We could salt it.
I ain't eating salted fish.
You ain't eating it at all.
Oh. Better tell Yoki that. Yoki, in the meantime, is doing laps around the boat. I mean, literally doing laps around the boat. And cackling. Because he can.
Does everybody get on board except Fulmer?
Yeah. Everybody but Fulmer is able to get on board. I'm going to move Fulmer closer to the ship.
Fulmer runs away from the ship.
What's wrong with Fulmer? Why is he not coming up?
He came up, popped like a fish, and went back down.
That's not good. Why is he not coming up?
You ask him.
I can't. He's under the water.
Well, Grun can breathe water.
I was saying, isn't Grun the big Captain Fishy boy?
He's the captain. I'm about being a fishy boy.
I say, or we could. What about your little friend? Your little. He doesn't even know what to call Yoki.
Yoki.
Let's say friend, employee, rat hybrid, whatever this thing is.
A cook.
That one.
Hey Yoki, find out what's wrong with Grun. So Yoki swims.
Nothing's wrong with Grun.
With Fulmer.
Fulmer. He goes, fine. So Fulmer go, why you not come up?
Can't breathe.
What do you can't breathe?
Can't
Open
breathe
mouth,
under
breathe.
water.
Why you can't breathe under what you huh?
I can't breathe above water. I've been cursed.
What do you mean you be cursed?
I don't even remember what the curse is.
It's the curse of non-air breathing.
What do you mean you be cursed?
I mean, I cannot breathe above water. I have to stay underwater.
You're not. Let's see, aren't you not cursed? Wasn't it a disease?
Can't breathe. I have an idea. Be right back. So he goes back up. He swims around the backside of the boat, and you hear him and Grun talking back and forth. It's rapid fire between the two of them. And then Grun yells to a couple sailors, and they disappear down the deck. And they come back with one of these huge barrels that he has stored below that they carry various supplies in. And they set on the deck, and you come back. You come now. Hold breath. When we get to side ship, we have problem fixed.
I'm not a pickle.
Not pickling you. Put you in a barrel of water. Unless you want to stand down here and scrape barnacles. Grun said that's an option.
Can't scrape barnacles. Have to swim. Where's the barrel?
So they positioned the barrel somewhat near the edge of the deck, not too far from where Bertra's at, just because they figured Berttra can help you up on the deck.
Oh, I don't know. Last time she tried to throw me, what happened?
That's between you and Berttra.
Somewhere near Berttra.
Okay. So the barrel's like right in here. No, actually closer to the edge of the deck so they can get you in it quickly. And it's a big barrel. It's like a huge wine cask type of barrel that they've brought up and put on the deck.
Did they fill it first?
Yes, it's been filled. Is actually
With
what's killed
wine?
anyway. That would be Grunt. Grunt, no. Actually, what they brought up was one of the ship's water barrels.
All right, I jump up into the barrel.
Okay. So you're quickly helped into the barrel, holding your breath, and you quickly helped into the barrel. Yoki appears on the deck, and as soon as he gets on the deck, and he walks over and he looks at him. Of course, your head's underwater, and he goes, "You good now?"
No, I don't like water.
Then you have a problem. You can only breathe water currently, and you not like water. That's funny. I wonder if I put basil in there, if you would taste it.
Go away.
I'll be back with basil. And he disappears.
Yoki, go away.
He disappears. So
He left.
as he's going downstairs, he says, "Oh, elfie people coming up too."
Elfie people.
The guards.
Or the dude that.
Oh, the water elves, right? When they're sea elves.
Yeah, I mean, there were sea elf patrols.
Oh, can I ask Grant if he saw the mermaid?
Merman.
Mermaid.
I thought
It was a
Tiger.
mermaid. No, she
Oh,
was a
that one.
mermaid. And she sort of kind of joining our party.
Supposed
Almost.
to be up here working for Grun, I
Yeah.
think was the deal.
Yeah. So, Grant goes, "What are you talking about? Think I'd let these guys anywhere near a mermaid?"
In the ship. Sit.
There's no mermaid here.
So she's scarpered?
Grun's never seen her.
Yeah, who was it that suggested she could come up and see Grun? Was that
Berttra.
Corum?
No,
Berttra and Fulmer.
I thought he
Very
could
stayed in the
be,
back of that one.
I thought he could be a useful member, like Malcolm.
Only for underwater.
What are you writing on the side of the barrel that he's in, Bertram?
Well, I write it in giant C, so they don't get it, and then I'll write in common below that translation, and basically it just says privy or toilet.
So, as you are standing, chilling out in the barrel there, Fulmer, you see through the water, you see Berttra appear at the edge, and she starts doing something to the side of the barrel. But you can't see what it is from your point of view because it's a solid barrel. The top's been removed.
is she doing it to his barrel or the
Yes,
barrel?
his barrel.
The apple said?
His barrel.
The barrel that I'm in. She's making Bertra's making a joke about the barrel I'm in, which isn't very funny after she tried to kill me.
So, over on the side of the ship, you hear Grun talking to someone in the water.
Can I see what he's?
Yeah. You hear him conversing. I mean, I'm not going to RP the conversation between the two parties. So you're going to walk over and join. That's a whole different story.
Yeah.
So as you walk over,
I just want to see. Is this the mermaid? I'm
Yeah.
kind of like actively looking for it now.
as you walk over and join Grun at the railing, and he's talking over the railing to someone, you see two of the Triton guards. Not the same ones, but similar to the ones that you had passed when you were on your way to the Ablis domain. And they see you. Go, "Are you one of the ones who are going to the shipwreck?"
And he's asking Corum.
"Yes."
We were. We have explored it and found a beast most heinous living in its depths below.
Yeah, this. Bertram comes over and lifts up their head for them to see.
"Gods!" they exclaim. "What the... Where did you... Where did that come from?"
It came from past the ship in the cave below the lighthouse.
past the ship in the cave below the what?
Isn't it below the lighthouse?
Yes, yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Yeah, the cave
Sorry.
below the lighthouse. And one nods the other, and then one disappears briefly under the water. And you kind of get the impression that he sent him to go investigate, or to send someone to go investigate.
Gotcha. Hopefully that bodes well for our rotund friend. I'll let them meet him
Yeah.
on their own.
Yeah, well, and briefly the other one comes back and confirms the other, and you hear him talk back and forth in their own language. He goes, Lord Pentath will be arriving shortly. Is one of the things you hear in their conversation going back and forth. Something about Lord Pentath arriving, and he says, we are investigating your claims of something beneath the lighthouse. We were aware of the prison there, but not that it had been corrupted.
Uh-oh. I don't know if I was looking through my notes like, did the guy tell us not to say some stuff about him?
No.
I can't remember.
No, he didn't. Yeah. He said, we were aware of the prison there, but not of it being corrupted. And some time passes, not long, about 20, 25 minutes. And the second guard, of course, he's gone and come, like he's checking on progress or something. And he returns to the surface and goes, Lord Pentath will be here shortly. He's investigating the claims that these overwaters make.
The what?
Oh, he was the guy that we rescued. Well, maybe. I don't know.
Lord Pentath quickly arrives not too long after that, and is invited onto the deck of the ship by Grun and his crew, while the other ones stay in the water.
Did we have a different name for him?
You all might have. Argos is his first name.
Okay, that's why Argos. I was like, who the hell's Pentath? Okay, Argos. That's why I'm like,
So Argos arrives. So Lord Pentath arrives, and he immediately looks at the head that Bertra's king is. Ah, that would explain much. Where did you acquire the head of an aboleth?
Oh, it was just behind the prison bit. So I had to go through the prison bit, through the cell.
Yes, I've had my men investigating, and your story is corroborated by him. I can't think of his name right now. The Mayor.
Yeah.
Fazad.
He was actually kind of helpful, if a bit of a dick. But helpful.
You see Argos actually smile at that. Just, yeah, well, some people have said that about him. Oh, so this was what was causing the corruption?
Yeah.
Varrett will pipe up and mention the little, what did you call them? Drowned corpse-looking dudes, or thralls? Thralls, I think that was.
Yeah.
That they had fought some, and that we had left some behind too, and we left, right?
Yes.
No idea what happened to those, but good luck with the cleanup.
I've ordered the soldiers to investigate and check and clean and deal with any issues there. He kind of walks. He sees the barrel sitting on the deck. And he goes, "Why is one of your members in a privy?"
I feel like Yoki should be the one to explain this one.
Yoki, who has reappeared on the deck, and he does have a bundle of basil in his hand.
Perfect.
He goes, we make him stew. Him can't breathe out of water for some reason. And Argus like, I suggest you add basil along with some coriander to the water. And give him at least 2-3 hours. He should be fine. Yoki takes this information, delightedly starts throwing spices into the water with Fulmer.
It's not like Fulmer can leave either. He's stuck in the barrel.
Fulmer can jump back in the water.
You have to get out over the deck first.
I can hold my breath for a couple of seconds. Trust me.
Bertram picks up the barrel and starts moving it into the center.
I could still run the length of the boat with the amount I can hold my
Bertram can
breath.
put a lid on the barrel and hold it shut.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Although,
Go ahead.
I was going to say, depending on your strength score, you might be able to hold your breath for like, what is it, like 4 minutes or 6 minutes or
Oh,
something?
he can
We
hold his breath
found
like
that.
7 minutes.
Yeah.
Mine is 7.
Yeah, so you'll be okay.
Yes. And now, while your friend is recovering, did you bring any evidences back that I can use to free the lighthouse keeper?
I thought the head was the evidence.
Oh, you brought the head for the evidence. Wonderful.
Wait, isn't
We also have a book that
A book?
depicts the ramblings of a captain, Captain Haddad, who seemed to fall for the charm of this aboleth creature,
Show me.
and speaks of it corrupting the water.
and you can find his now deceased personage down below in the cave because he did try to attack us.
Ah, I see. So show me. He takes the book and he goes leafing through it very carefully because he is water drenched. He goes, yes, I can see. So this, along with the head, should be sufficient to prove my point that the keeper is not to be held responsible for this. He turns to Grant and says, do you have any netting or something I can put this thing in?
It's already in a barrel.
Head's not in a barrel.
No,
The
head's just loose.
It's just
Oh, I
sitting on
thought
the
you
deck.
were putting it in a barrel.
No, she said she was going to.
Oh, when she read on the side of the barrel in Aboleth Blood, I thought that was the Aboleth barrel.
No,
My bad.
that's the barrel Fulmer's in.
Oh.
I told you she was making a joke about the barrel about the guy that she tried to kill earlier.
How big a vessel would this need to hold an aboleth head? Like, compared to a creature, what are we talking about? Like a lion's head or like a...
A little bit bigger than a lion's head, yeah.
Is there
So-
Is there like a little empty sort of like barrel for top of rum? Because I know ships sometimes had those.
Again, gee, let's see. Would there be a rum barrel on Grun's ship?
Like couple,
Yeah.
but an empty
Would there be
one.
an empty one?
Yeah.
With Yoki and Grun on board, yes, they'd be empty.
Be sure almost all of them are empty.
Well, not all of them. You're only halfway through the voyage, but yes, there is a barrel to be had.
Yeah, I bring that out and put it in there
Okay.
because I imagine it's.
I'll take that with me, and he points to the head in the barrel. And that should be enough to convince the Lord Under the Sea that the keeper is not to be held responsible for the corruption in the area, which seems to be lessening now that you've dealt with the creature.
Sweet.
So he collects up the things he needs. He thanks you all repeatedly for your service, because I don't have much in way of a monetarial way to thank you. However, each one of you have earned a favor from me. Should you need me, and he hands each one of you a small stone. So simply throw the stone in the waters. I will know. I will come.
Like, how big a favor are we talking here?
Well, you've helped me convince the lords that the lighthouse keeper is not to be blamed. So, I can't say I can bring armies, but I can potentially help in most situations.
How much water we talk about we need for this?
Well, it'd have to be an ocean or a sea, or else I wouldn't get the message now, would I?
Okay, not Grun's privy or something.
No, definitely not Grunge Privy.
What about a really big river?
If the water leads to the ocean, I will know. It might take time for it to travel, but I will know. So in essence, what he's really given you is a a single-use sending stone that you can drop into any body of water that travels to the ocean, and he will get the message within 1 to 2, well, within an hour to maybe 2 days, depending on where he's at in the ocean and how far you are from the oceans.
We were
And
thinking.
your friend over there, uh, he should be fine in a few hours. If I know this creature's habits, that poison won't last for long.
Perfect.
And with that, he takes his leave from you all.
And we're on the main map. We're about still another day or 2 days away from.
Taking you there now, actually.
Yeah. Our little side quest.
Let me move the token. No. I'm moving too much.
I imagine we can knock ourselves off of death's door now.
Yeah, you'll be able to take a long rest here on the ship as you travel. So yes, go ahead and take long rests. I will get gruns, or not gruns, but
No. But
yokis.
And Jason, just as a reminder, since I haven't played a bard, am I allowed to change out a spell at long rest, or is that only at level up?
That's at level up.
Mama.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. That's what we'll leave for now. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, but I'll have to double check.
Oh, the UA bard spells.
Yeah.
Do we get in multiple rests before? Or...
Yes, you'll get multiples, and that won't be a problem. Give me a second here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to Yoki's sheet. I just gotta find him in my notes here.
I just wondered if I could have all my hit dice back.
Yeah.
Levels for birds.
Long rest. There we go.
I think it's one new song per long rest. In the new.
It's just if you're going by the UA or not. That's
right,
my only question, Jason.
Yeah,
if it's by the UA, it's
that's fine.
Okay.
Most stuff that Wizards puts out, I have no problem with. Most. There's a few things they do that I don't think is quite right, but.
Well, and it kind of makes sense though, because how many mornings do you wake up and you got a different song in your head? You're like, oh yeah, I remember that one.
So you are. Let me get the map centered to where you guys are at. Token. You're right there off the coast, off the point there. You're about halfway through your voyages. Now, the route that Grun and his navigator came up with, I'm just going to mark it all on instead of. And of course, I went to the wrong layer. There we go. Token layer.
Because I was on the phone.
Token layer. And Grum was steering clear of the open waters because of he wasn't quite sure what the territories were here.
480 miles, 500 miles.
Yeah, it'll take you about another 3 days to arrive there.
You can have it. Go there.
Varys is going to mingle with the crew, maybe help out with some stuff.
That's
pulling
fine.
lines and stuff.
Yeah, that's fine. And Grunt has no problem with that as you all travel. Now, once you get to Dragonbarrow. Okay.
Need me to hold your meal?
Dragonbarrow is a mid-sized city. It's not as big as, say, Gumtar Stronghold, but it's not a small town either. It's a port city, and it actually sets a bit off. Actually, it's not right on the coast. Move it so you can see better. It's up the river just a little bit. I mean, it's within sight of the coastline, but you got to go upriver to it. Once there, Grun pulls the ship into docks because he does have some business to conduct there, and he lets you know he's going to have 5 to 6 hours worth of business here to conduct. The main thing that Grun is doing is him and Kith need to arrange for river captains to join the crew of the ships so that he can so they can navigate the ships upriver. because the cargo they have is for Bygrass, which is the next little town up. And he also has cargo to deliver to Ironhaven as well, which is the next city up. Yes.
Just from what I'm recalling, I know Grun's on here, but he said either he would either take the ship up if there was an escort, or if not, then we'd have to disembark and get other like ferry boats or something up.
Yeah, because he wasn't for sure how deep he could get the ships. Getting it to Bygrass after looking at the river here, he felt fairly comfortable that getting the ships to Bygrass would not be a problem. However, he knows he's going to have to hire river captains to navigate the ships up the river because he doesn't know where the shallows are and things like that. So he'll have to hire someone on to take care of that job, which is typical practice in the area. From Bygrass on, he doesn't know at this point. Typically what happens in this situation is his river captain would handle from Dragonborough to Bygrass. He might have to bring on another different captain from Bygrass up, or be told he can't. The ships won't reach that far up.
Then we'll find out.
The main cargo is going to Bygrass, though he does have another smaller cargo to go to Ironhaven, which he may have to have transported by riverboats. In which case, you all could use the riverboats.
Sweet.
So you have a few hours in Dragonborough if you want to explore Dragonborough, as he's conducting business and making arrangements. And of course, he also has more fresh supplies brought on, things like that done. Him and Kith both do while they're there. So quickly the ships become, a hive of activity as empty water barrels are offloaded, fresh water barrels are brought on. By this time, Fulmer can breathe air again, so he's no longer in a barrel. That sort of thing. And Grun doesn't even neither one of the ships actually come into the docks. They just anchor out in the wide bay of the mouth of the river. They anchor there, and they use boats to go back and forth, and local boats going back and forth to conduct what they need. He does tell you if you want to go in and explore the city, you can.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so you guys pitch out. I don't have a map or anything for this. We'll kind of theater them out of it. You pitch off on one of the boats when it's going ashore. They drop you at the docks and they continue going about their business. And Grun tells you, about how many hours you got until there, but he won't leave without you because he knows it's Grun. He's not going to leave you. He said Kith's ship may go on if need be, but he would wait long enough for you guys to return. Provided it wasn't more than a day, at that point you're on your own. Dragonborough is a decent-sized little hamlet. It's got a fairly large mixed population of different species. Unfortunately, Berttra, you do still stand out in the crowd. It's mainly your height that makes you stick out more than anything.
Yeah.
It's not that there's... Go ahead.
Have I ever been here before?
I doubt it. It's more than likely when you came down out of the mountains, you came down through the forest over on to the west of here. Not to west of here, the east of here. I'm sorry, I'm backward in my head. To the east of here, you're more like you came down through those forests. You could have possibly came through here and sought passage, but doubtful that you've been through here. The city itself. So it's not a huge metropolis, but it's a thriving little city, and you can tell mostly what it thrives off of is the trade coming up and down the river, going to into the northern cities from here, and the trade moving along the coastline. There's quite a bit of you see a number of warehouses and things like that, and actually the initial docks, when you get off the docks, there's a whole row of taverns and things like that there when you first get off the docks. But as shortly behind the row of taverns, you see warehouses, several rows of warehouses, and then from there it kind of breaks down into the city itself. The streets are kind of haphazard; they're not really laid out in any particular pattern. It looks like the city just kind of grew over time to accommodate what it does now. Most of the construction is wooden with a mix of stone, and the tang of the salt air is in the air. And you see, like I said, you see lots of goods moving back and forth, and a goodly mix of the races. More elves here than what you were seeing over in the freehold directly. Uh, Not to mean there's a whole bunch of elves, or just more than what you were seeing there. But that's not uncommon since you're getting closer. Suddenly the DM can't talk since you're getting closer to the elven holds. There also is you see an occasional orc, you see occasional gnomes and other species in amongst the group. A lot of the smaller species, they're present, but they're not there in huge numbers. And it's usually the more of the taller species, the humans, the elves, the half elves, the minotaurs, things like that. Though you don't actually see any minotaurs in the cities you're traveling through. So what are you looking for in the city, Berttra? Coram?
I put a little thing up there, but just looking for a curio shop, things selling local stuff.
Okay.
Maybe if like they have like a magical knick-knack shop or something like that.
Okay. So are you just looking with your eyes, or are you going to ask around?
I'll do a mixture. Also, I'm also on the insight to see who's friendly and sort of like, because I believe ogres sort of like, further we go north here, the further I'm going to get in trouble.
Yeah. Most of them are, I don't want to say they're unfriendly towards you, but they're not openly friendly towards you. Again, it might be your intimidating size, or it might be the dragon scale armor you're wearing, or the giant glass steel weapon you're carrying. But
Maybe
you're
I
also
should change into the dress.
that's fine. You couldn't have done that if you wish. But of course, you're also not alone. You're in a company of different people. Yoki did not join you. He's busy or making arrangements for food supplies and stuffs on the ship, so he's not with you right now. And so as you ask around, you're pointed toward a shop up a street, and you're given directions to this shop. And this little shop, when you arrive at it, the door on the shop, normal sized door, so you'll have to stoop to get in it, but it kind of leans to the left a little bit, even in its frame. It's like the whole thing is leaning to the left just a little bit, like the whole building has shifted to the left slightly. When you go in the front door, there's a counter, a semicircular counter around the door, and there's not much space stand there. About enough space for the lot of you to stand there as a group comfortably in there. But there's a counter, and the counter itself is made of wood or stone. You can't tell because it's been stuccoed over. So it appears to be a solid, and it's got a beautifully carved wooden countertop across the top of it. And behind that, in another almost semicircular fashion, is sets of shelves with displaying different curios and oddments and items. And standing behind the counter as you come in is this elven proprietor. And he's old. Even by elvish standards, he's old. And Coram, you're probably the first one that noticed this when you go in there because of your background and your knowledge of the species. His hair is wispy thin. He even has a slight stoop as he looks at you guys, and as you look at him. His clothing, however, is impeccable. It's clean. It's a beautifully done and tailored. It fits his body elegantly. And as he looks around the group, he goes, "So, what brings you to my establishment today?"
I told you had interesting things.
Well, yes, I do have quite a collection of curiosities that I've collected from around the world. What might be of interest to you, my lady?
I haven't really thought. What do you specialize in?
I tend to trade in the unusual and the strange. Might be a good way to describe it, though I can't think of a proper term for it. Some of the items are magical, some are just strange.
I like to see the magical ones first. It's
Ah.
always more impressive.
Ah, very well, very well. He looks at you and goes, he kind of, his quick glance, I mean, even though he's old, you can tell just at a glance he's reading you from top to bottom. He goes, what do I have here? And he reaches around behind him, not even looking. He just reaches around behind and he quickly pulls three things off the shelf, and they're in boxes. And he sets each one of the boxes on the table, and they're small boxes. And he goes, this box here contains an extremely rare item. It's a rare gemstone, blood red in color, that can be made into very beautiful jewelry. But with the proper application, it can be said that it will extend one's life. And he opens up the case, and inside it is a number of gems. And they're maybe the size of, maybe the size of a pound sterling for you. And they're not huge, but they're uncut and raw. Because the name of the gem, it's called painite. There's that. Because now this one here, said, this is an item I found while traveling the northern mountains. It looks like it, though it looks like you may have traveled those quite frequently yourself, my lady. Because this, and he opens it up, and inside it is a quill. So this is a quill used by one of the ruby scribes. And they say that with the proper application, it can reveal hidden messages or write messages that can be hidden for someone with a similar quill. And then he points to the last and this one. This one contains a manuscript. A manuscript that claims that there is more to the city of Deepcliff than we believe. And he opens the box, and inside it is a written manuscript, nicely covered tome and book on it. And the title that's impressed on the cover that you can see is, it says, The Truth About Deepcliff. It's not really dwarven. He kind of looks at you with a sparkle in his eye. Yes, as in a book fair. Right? Sorry?
We've been to Deepcliff before, haven't we?
No.
We're heading there.
Berttra has been to Deepcliff before. You're headed that way.
Our current path is Dragonbarrow up to Ironhaven up to Deepcliff.
Deepcliff. Right. That's what you all discussed.
Yeah.
Yes.
This guy seems awfully knowledgeable of where we're going and what might be of interest to me. I want to insight how this creepy guy, is he like a seer or a prophet or what?
Okay, give me an insight check.
licking her chalk. Oh, Jesus.
I mean, it's just wise.
You're just like, book, amazing book.
So, Bertram, you honestly look at him, and judging by his clothing, you assume that he's probably an elven wizard or prophet of some kind. Now, the rest of the party's here for this, I'm assuming. I'm assuming the rest you all walked in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm kind of standing behind Bertram because elves don't like half elves too much.
Right.
But in the process, I'm nudging Bertram, pointing at the book.
How much?
For which item, my lady?
the bundle and then separately.
Oh, well, let's see. The painite is worth at least 2 gold per gem. Now, they're worth much more once they're refined and processed, you understand. But
And
in raw,
how much do they extend? But you
oh,
buy.
well, it depends on the cut and the fashioning of it. There's a cutter here in the city that could do the work.
And if, say, all of them were used, how many?
Oh,
If I use 10, what would that do?
well, unfortunately, there's not 10 in the container. There's only 4, but each one of those could potentially, yes, they could potentially extend one's life quite substantially.
Substantially being a year?
That's
I mean,
what the legend. He's not being circumspect. He just he's looking at the stones and trying to judge them. You can tell that in his eyes. Yes, potentially a year each. I could see that cut properly. Now, so let's see if you want all 4. Let's see a gold for each one of those. So we'll call that 4 gold. And you know what? You can have the lot for 3. The second item. I forgot what the second item was. Crap.
it was the quill from the Ruby Scribes.
Thank you. The quill from the scribe. Because the second item, that's more lore-tastic. So we'll call that 5 silver. And the last item, I'll tell you what. If you take the lot, let's see, that's 4 gold pieces for the lot.
4 gold pieces for the lot.
Yes.
Berttra shoves down 2 platinum.
With a deft move of his fingers, the platinum is scooped up, and as he moves the platinum aside, you see your change in gold laying there.
And it just gets pushed back to him.
Oh, thank you, my lady. And that quickly, deftly disappears. Because now, let me explain to you how to use these items. So he quickly goes into, obviously the book is, obviously you read that. Yes, you might want to keep it dry, though. Some of the older manuscripts, the ink wasn't too great when it got wet. This one should be fine, but I have not tested that. Now, as for the quill, so he brings up the quill and he pulls out a sheet of paper. And he dips the quill in, and he produces an inkwell. Because any ink will do. It doesn't matter what kind of ink you use. And he dips it in the inkwell, and he begins to write with it, just like anybody would with a quill. And of course, it writes. And then he goes off to the right of it, and he makes 3 gestures with the quill, or 3 marks with the quill. And then he takes the quill over top of it and touches the quill to the marks, and draws a line through them, connecting them. And as he does that, everything he just wrote disappears off the page. Because I will trace that out, those marks out for you, and with a regular ink without the quill, so you can see it. But I want to demonstrate its actual functionality for you. And then he goes beneath it, or right below where the mark was at, and he makes another series of marks. And make a perception check, Berttra, or anybody who's watching, for that matter. Nicely done, Fulmer. Anybody else besides Berttra?
Yeah, I'm just
I'm
getting out of the edit thing.
Oh, okay.
Because I was editing in the book as you were talking.
And this is not like he's trying to hide something. I just want to see if you all really... Okay, yeah, even Bertha scores high enough for this. So, as he makes the other 3 marks, you all realize what he's doing is he's connecting the original marks back together. And then when he hovers the quill over it again, the ink reappears. He goes, now, let me show you how that works. And he lays the quill aside, and he takes a regular pencil that he procures from behind his desk, and he redraws the three symbols. He says, do them in this order. So then you hold the quill over top the pen, and you focus on the quill. And he explains to you exactly what you got to focus on to make it happen. So, and that will activate this magic that's contained in the quill. He said to make them reappear, and he draws the symbols again, but he goes just beneath them, and he draws them separately. He says, and make them connect to the original symbols where they're out on the page. He said, and then the other items will do the same thing, concentrate, and the other items will reappear. Because now, be careful, you have to know where the symbols are on the page to reconnect them. Do you understand? And it's a fairly simple procedure.
Bert's tries to smile.
Okay. So he lays that aside. He rebundles the pen, puts it back in its wooden box, or the quill, puts it back in its box, slides it off the side, slides the painite stones off to the side, and he brings lastly to the manuscript. Says, this simply requires reading in time. I hope you enjoy it. I found it quite interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you for your patronage, my lady. So anything else that any of you others are seeking for or looking for? And he looks at Coram. Looks straight at Coram.
Coram would be interested in any kind of cloaks. I think he even mentioned that he had.
I do have some cloaks. What particular kind of cloak are you seeking out?
Well, the more magical, the better, right?
Of course. The more magical, the better, he says. Yes, of course. Let me see here. He rummages around, He almost, and this time he actually turns and rummages around. My dog's growling at someone outside. And of course, the one night that I want something to be where it's supposed to be, it's not going to come up like I want it to. Because I was into a bunch of files over the weekend.
Did you ever get that water heater moved?
Yeah, did that today actually. There we go.
Sweet.
Okay, venturing gear. So he produces a series of cloaks, and he lays three of them on the table. The first one is, it looks like it's made out of a blue-black silk, and it doesn't appear especially magnificent or anything like that.
Does he know what it is, or is it just?
Yeah, well, he lays it down and says, "This one, because this one, it's a very unique item." He goes, so he goes, looks like he goes, this cloak was, I procured it while I was down south. It came from the Burning Lands originally. Yes. They say that the person that is wrapped up in this cloak will not get cold or will not get too hot.
That's pretty comfortable.
Yes. And he pushes that aside and goes, this one, and this cloak is a, I'm trying to think of how to describe this one. It looks like it's made out of everyday oilcloth. It doesn't look extremely fancy or anything. So it doesn't look like much, but it will keep one dry. And then he goes to the last one. He's laying there, and it's a beautiful royal blue silk cloak. And on the shoulders of the cloak and up the hood of the cloak, it's embroidered to look like it has chainmail on it. Because this cloak, it's a little more special. It will protect its wearer from the pointier things of life.
Now it's my dog's turn. Hmm. In what way does it protect from the pointy things?
Do me a favor. Get my coffee pants.
So,
Water.
in a blink of an eye,
Why didn't make me water? Never mind.
a needle appears in his hand, just like a sewing needle. And he pulls the cloak up and he jabs it at the cloak. The needle won't go through.
Ah, that's pretty sweet.
Because, as I said, it protects you from the pointier things in life.
Corum's most interested, since we're going up in the mountains, I think the ones that the comfortable one,
yes,
the first one,
okay,
would be what he's most interested in.
So he looks at it and he goes, well, that is a fine item. It will help you, especially in the northern climes. It's very useful in the desert too. And as he pulls it up, like I said, it's blue-black on the on the one side, but when he flips it over, you notice that the inside of it, or the outside, depending on how you flip the cloak, is a tannish brown.
Okay.
It's reversible too. Depending on the way you wear it, is what it protects you from. Keep the brown side in, you stay warm. Keep the blue side in, you stay cool. Because I have to ask a little more than I did for the items that your lady asked for, unfortunately. That's going to cost 1,100 gold.
Corum will pay that, and he will hand over one gem worth 1,000 and a gem worth 100.
Okay, so he picks the gems up. He lifts one up, looks at it briefly. Excellent, excellent. Do enjoy your cloak. And he turns to Berttra and says, when she inquires about a cloak of billing, is, I had one of those, but a noble purchased it from me a little over a year and a half ago. And as
I
for
love
the
a Bender's
helm,
laugh.
as for the helm, I'm sorry, I don't have anything like that.
It was a long shot anyway.
I understand, and of course, I'm curious.
Well, anyway, have a nice day. Does anyone else have anything else they want to get? Oh,
So,
by the way, we're heading up to Bridegrass and Ironhaven. If you have anything we can help you there.
No, I haven't been out that way in a while. I was actually thinking about maybe going to Wolfton, but I won't be making that trip and probably until the next set of rains. And again, he looks at Corum.
with rings?
No, rains.
Oh.
As in next
Like
time it
horse
rains.
brains?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Gotcha. Yeah. What do I make of that? The rain part?
No, just this area of Eldarin has seasonal rainfalls, and it's getting close to the rainy season. The rain's coming in, so he's probably wanting to wait until after the rain passes to travel that direction.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. We'll have to decide if we can do it.
Okay. Well, Perhaps you'll be down and I can engage your services. I assume you're a group of traveling adventurers based on the equipment you carry. And almost at a glance, he looks at Corin's belt and he goes, "Is that glass steel?"
The rapier?
Yes.
Why, yes, it is.
Where did you acquire that? That's an exceedingly rare item.
It was a while ago.
I would inquire about purchasing it from you, but with my understanding of glass steel, that's not an option.
Out of party whisper, isn't there a dagger somewhere?
Do what?
Isn't there a dagger in someone's bag somewhere that looks like a cracked piece of glass steel?
I don't think so.
I was literally asking about that. There was
Rogue-
definitely a piece that was in the.
No,
I guess for a while. I guess for a while, Q carried it, but I'm thinking you're talking about Roglin's glass steel dagger, right?
Yes.
Yes. I just couldn't remember if that was ever broken or if it ever got handed off to Verret to let it attempt to do something.
It
But
looked it never went to Verret, and it looked all like cracked inside. But Jason said it wasn't broken. But Jason can take it from here. He knows better than I do.
The weapon itself, it looked like a windshield when it breaks. It looked like it was shattered, but it was still holding its form and shape.
well, in that case, I think Gon has it, and he's just going to keep it and try to attune to. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I may not have had it on the list, but that should have been in the
That's fine.
the bag of holding that Verret would have now, so it would be in that one.
Okay, that's fine.
So
Yeah,
you can do whatever you want with that.
Yeah, it looks shattered, like it's busted, but it's not falling apart. So, kind of like a windshield looks when it spiders. It's all crumbly and broken, but it's not falling apart. It's just not clear and pristine and pretty like the other ones are. Well, not that they're clear, but you know what I'm saying.
So for the roll point version of that, maybe I'm carrying it, but it's more of a Berttra and Corum and
Yeah, more their decision. What happens? To it.
their business. What happens to it? Yeah.
It's fine. As well, do care for those. Those weapons are exceedingly, well, anything made of glass still is exceedingly rare. Enjoy your reading, Miss.
It's Berttra.
Ah, Berttra. What an unusual name. Well, do enjoy your reading.
Hi.
Now, can I incite him to see if he actually knew more than he was letting on?
Sure.
Maybe that he recognized her.
He doesn't seem to have recognized her.
Okay.
He seems more curious about her. I mean, she's what, 8.5, 9 foot tall, Marcus?
8. Let me just double check real quick. I've got it on the sheet.
I mean, she's obviously got some other species in her. She for a half ogre, she looks very human, generally.
8'2".
Yeah, 8'2". That's what I was thinking, like over 8 foot tall. So I mean, she's exceedingly tall, even for most species. And being this close to the mountains, I'm sure he's familiar with ogres and ogresses. So he's curious, not suspicious, just curious. So, what else too while you're in the town? You got a few hours yet before Grun needs you to return to the docks and get back to the ships.
And we would have long rested on the ship. Right?
Yeah.
It took us 3 days to get here.
Yeah, you had 3 days to get your long rest in.
So unless Corm really doesn't like trancing, maybe he didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you spend a few more hours, wandering around the city, taking in the sights. You get some food, some cooking that's not Yoki's, so he's not with you. Before you return to the ships, you find Grun and Kith bellowing it back and forth to each other across the way, as they prepare to make plans to move upriver. Grun explains to you that from his conversations with the river pilots here, and you actually see a person you don't recognize on the deck. He explains that the ships will be able to easily get from here to Bagras. At Bagras, the ship that Kith is sailing, and of course I blank out on its name when I need it. Why is that? I can never remember.
Maiden or the Knight?
The Duchess of Duchess Truth. Its draft will be too deep to continue upriver, but the Chase Knight has a shallow enough draft. He's assured that it can easily get you guys to Ironhaven. So the plan is that him and Kith will deliver their goods in Bagras, and Kith will wait there and make arrangements for more, shipping going back south, while Grun sails north to drop you off at Ironhaven.
Got it.
And that him and Kith will remain in the area, trading here in the general area, and will periodically check back into Ironhaven and make sure their routes include Ironhaven and Bagras, looking to see if you guys have arrived. He further explains that it will take roughly a day and a half for them to sail upriver to Bagras. From Bagras on, it'll take another, hold on, let me pull my calendar up so I can tell you exactly, because I mapped all that out the other night while I was actually doing my prep work. Being a good DM.
Surprise, surprise.
I'm guessing like 11 days.
Wait, you can do that?
7 days?
Okay. Let's see. Can do what?
You can actually prepare ahead as the DM?
Yeah, some days. Yeah. He can have you in Bagras by tomorrow, and 3 days he can have you in Ironhaven. So by the 40th of Xanathi, you guys could, which is the month you're currently in, you guys could be in Ironhaven. He looks and goes, "Did you find anything interesting in town?"
Luke.
What?
Sorry, hold on. My microphone's going out. A cloak.
A cloak.
It's supposed to keep me warm when it's cold and cold when it's warm.
That could be useful. He begrudgingly agrees. Why did I not think of that?
Hey, Gran, there's a thing you should maybe invest in called Paynite.
Paynite?
Might actually be able to get a few years back that you lost.
Oh, that could be interesting. What's this?
Apparently a gem that you make it look nice and somehow it gets you younger or something, rejuvenates you. I don't know. I'm not an expert.
That's interesting. Let me know how that works out for you. If it works for you, I'll try it.
I have a feeling that I'm gonna need all these at some point.
Well, just don't jump in any green lights. So while you guys are talking, the ships begin casting off, and this other person that you recognize, standing over by the wheel, begins giving instructions to the crew. The crew starts getting underway, and he's not telling the crew to get underway, but he's giving instructions to the helmsman, and the helmsman's in ordering what needs to be done on the ship as the ships begin making way. And you look over to Kith's ship, which is close enough to you can easily see it, and you can see another similar person, similarly dressed, on his ship, doing the same thing with his helmsman, giving orders. It's, river captain, He'll be getting us upriver. Anything else in town worth of industry value? Ah, Yoki said dinner will be promptly at 6.
We
Oh,
already
yeah.
ate.
Yeah, that was a nice thing. I had a pie. That was pretty nice.
Did you bring me one?
I don't know. Let me think. I'll roll intelligence, see if I've thought about it.
Okay.
See if I was considerate enough to maybe
actually
buy
think
more.
about it.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I spent like a gold to get like a big selection box.
Okay. He listens and goes, "You mean you brought me food that's not Yoki's?"
You.
I knew I liked you for a reason, Berttra. So
Yeah.
he orders one of the sailors over and he goes, hey, take this down to my cabin. Don't let Yoki near it. And don't eat any of it.
Smell it.
He goes, yeah. So are you gonna on the trip, are you gonna look at this book that you purchased as a group?
Oh, I'm definitely reading that.
Okay. So the first night of it as you're traveling, as you're reading and thumbing through it, the first few chapters go into a whole bunch of the writer makes out like all of the races, every race, descended from human. And he goes on to explain this theory of his or hers. You really can't tell from the author's name which gender it is. But the writer goes on to explain that sometime in the distant past, the planet was only inhabited by humans. And a cataclysm occurred. And the humans, to survive it, used magics to manipulate their bodies and ended up creating all of the various races that make up Eldarin. And once he gets through all that, which that takes about 3 or 4 chapters, and this you're reviewing over the couple of days as you're going up the river and traveling toward you stop in Bagras. The Bagras is a relatively small, not a small town, but it's not as big as Dragonborough where you were just at. More supplies are taken on. You continue to review the book as you're going, up toward Ironhaven. And the writer goes on to explain that if that's the case, if the races are all descended from the same race, then the dwarven stronghold of Deepcliff must have at some time not been a dwarven city, but rather been a city from another race, likely built by humans. And then he goes off into this fantastical flight that these humans knew how to create machines that would fly in the air. And not like the airships that you all have heard of, but metal tubes that would fly in and above the atmosphere and leave the planet. And that Deepcliff was a center where this mythical creation, this great magic was worked. And that whenever the races realized this cataclysm occurred, the humans living there manipulated themselves into something that could live underground for a long period of time, which is what become known to you all as as a dwarf. And that in order to make themselves more fitting for the underground environment, to fit into places they couldn't, they became tougher and shorter. And it gives great detail about how they did all this, what magics they used, and all that. But he postulates that the races all came from human.
Quorum's very interested in that.
I'm sure Quorum is. So you reach Bycliff. Once in Bycliff, or not Bycliff. Yeah, Bycliff. You leave, or Bygrass, you leave the Duchess of Truth behind, and Grunt and his ship continues selling you to Ironhaven. Arriving in Ironhaven, you're on a plain. It's very flat. There's not that many hills. Now ahead of you, in the distance, you can see the hills, and rising up into the mountains is the Graham Highlands. And you're starting to feel more like you're coming closer to home, Berttra. Ironhaven is a massive city. It's a city not unlike Gumtar Stronghold. There are hundreds of residents here, if not thousands. The city itself is built in concentric rings and is more like an old-fashioned fairy tale type castle. The main keep is in the center, and then each one of the concentric rings going out has a set of walls, and then there's buildings outside the walls, and then another set of walls, and so on. And there's like 4 or 5 sets of rings. And one of the sets of rings, the furthest outset, actually creates a protected harbor that Grun's ship is sailed into, and he pulls into dock there. The city is abuzz and awash with noise and people. It's a clean city, but it's not pristine clean. It's just clean in general. The docks are well taken care of and well processed and well cared for. There's no rotted wood. At the end of each one of the docks, particularly as they come up, no sooner than does the lines go ashore and the river captain steps off the boat, then another person steps on the boat, and you see Grun exchanging money and grumbling as he pays the taxes and all that to use the dock and that sort of thing, as he takes care of his business that he's in. And dock hands come in and start unloading equipment, and Grun returns to the group and goes, "Well, not seen a city like this for a while. I won't be able to stay at the dock more than a few hours while they offload the cargo. However, I'm assured there are wonderful taverns in town. Yoki's going with you. Take him off my ship, please. He's driving me bananas." Which, speaking of which, apparently those are in high demand here. There are taverns there. There are, and he kind of points in the general direction. You can find everything you need here. From here, you should be able to get mounts or a wagon to get you guys north from here. I will be back in Ironhaven in 2 weeks, and then every 2 to 4 weeks after that, I will make sure that I am here to see if you guys have returned.
Sounds good.
Very well.
Did you get my whisper earlier?
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking.
Nope, he didn't.
Yes, I did. Nothing of any value is turned up in that regards in any of the towns you've been in.
Okay, because I have a card specific to that.
Yeah, I know you do, and nothing that would, nothing as outstanding as what you found in the one town. So.
Okay.
It's not like you haven't found anything, just nothing that meets what's become the quality there at the Laughing Dragon.
Perfect. Grun's not even here, really, per se. So yeah. So Grun does make some. Various things. And said I would stay at the dock longer, but they're charging me 3 gold an hour just to be here.
which you all know for Grun that's not that much money, but he's still complaining about it.
He's a stingy bugger.
Exactly.
We can front Grun some money if he needs it.
It's not about the money. It's about the fact they're charging me for the dock. Oh, by the way, make sure you read the list of mandates at the end of the dock before you enter the city.
That's probably good advice. Grun telling us to read something. I never thought I'd see the day.
Grun can read?
Because I've already told the crew not to leave the ship. Except for Yoki. He's going with you. So as you exit, as a group, you exit, you gather your things up to, to leave the ship, and the Chase Knights start, moving stuff on and off. And if anything that surprises you about Ironhaven is the efficiency in which they unload and reload Grun's ship. Within an hour, his ship is ready to leave. When you reach the end of the dock, there is a signboard there with a list of mandates for behavior in the town. And there's about 20 of them. Most of them are common sense stuff, not being out and being drunk and, lewd behavior and things like that. One of them actually comments on weaponry. Weapons are not to be worn while in the city. Or if worn, they must be bound. And as you approach the mandate, as you're reading the mandate board, you notice there is a pair of what must be city guards. They're wearing a tabard with the blue and white stripes that go diagonal across it. And a group of them are approaching us. Visitors to the city, I see.
Just here to see the sights.
Excellent. And you came from the Chase Knight? Will you be
Yes.
leaving with the vessel, or are you remaining?
I believe we are remaining.
Very well. You will need to make sure you have accommodations before nightfall. And he looks around and sees your weapons, the various weapons. And I can bind those for you so that you're in compliance with local ordinances if you are in agreeance. If not, I can store them until you're ready to depart.
Corbin is bound.
Go ahead and bind my.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and do you have any recommendations on an inn?
As soon as I stop joking, yes.
Jeez.
Start patting him on the back. Okay. Wrong hose.
Just up the street from here, there is a nice little inn that caters to travelers of your sort. And by that I mean adventurers. I can tell by your weaponry and your equipment that you must be in that vein of work. That are mercenaries, but mercenaries usually don't arrive in quite that nice of a vessel. Its name is the Epoch. It is run by the Maiden, and she can get you squared away. It's very nice. They have a nice tavern and stuff below, and above they have a wonderful set of rooms that can be rented. There is also a livery down the street, should you need mounts or things of that nature. Now, about this binding, is there'll be 1 silver piece per weapon bound. All weapons must be bound.
Even the small ones?
Any weapon must be bound, yes.
Okay.
I'm not going to make you guys go into the math. You decide whether you're going to pay him or not.
Yeah, we'll pay him.
Okay.
Or I'll pay him.
It's like I got a whole 1 silver to pay him. So
Yeah.
I'll look at everyone and be like, I have gems worth 100 gold, so I don't suppose anyone can front me a little something because I have no.
We'll just
So,
pay
yeah.
silver.
Okay, how much?
28 silver, Jason? So
How much do we need to pay up?
1 per weapon.
One silver per weapon.
Oh, is that all?
I'm actually carrying silver.
Yeah.
Can
So
I
is he-
ask where is this we're getting into? I cut off like when you were describing what I found out in the
Okay.
book.
No problem.
We're in Ironhold.
Ironhaven.
You're in Ironhaven.
Or Ironhaven, sorry.
So what?
And
What?
this is the gate. Gate
Not
rules?
the gate. Not well, because you came in the dock, but yeah, it's the city guard before you enter the city proper. So what he goes about on, he actually produces a silk ribbon. It's made of the same blue and white diagonal pattern that the tabard that he's wearing is. And he intricately winds it around the weapons in their hilt and then ties a very intricate knot on it. He goes, now, should you need your weapons, all you must do is untie the knot and you can use your weapons. When leaving the city by any of the other gates and you need your weapons unbound, simply ask the guards there and they can remove the binding and they'll refund you your silver.
Oh, perfect.
It's simply a matter of a way of keeping peace within the city walls. This is what it amounts to. And we don't want people waving swords around for no apparent reason. Because now, I do have to ask one further thing. Are there any magic users amongst your group?
Define magic users.
People who use spells.
Berttra raises her hand a little bit.
You use magic, lady. Wonderful.
Yeah, I think we all.
I got the little tattoos.
Right. Yeah, I know you do. Wonderful. Okay.
No, that's what she says to the guy.
Yeah. If you will show me
Also, only the magic of song. And I break into. No, I'm just kidding.
So if you will show me your hands that you cast with, I will bind those as well.
How the hell's that work?
So basically, he demonstrates this. He flies on and says, let me show you. And it's not an uncommon question, so please don't be offended. So what he does is he takes the same kind of ribbon that he used on your weapons, and he demonstrates on his companion there, and he wraps two of the fingers together so that they move together, and then he wraps it on two of the other fingers. So basically your hand's kind of like in a mitten type of deal, or a split mitten. Because it's simply to make sure that you can't make the arcane gestures necessary to cast a spell.
Huh.
All spells are outlawed here.
Not outlawed, but the issue with magic being used in the city inappropriately has become a problem in latter years, and the Lord Mayor decided that binding even magic users' hands, and I do apologize for it. We do not charge for that thing, thankfully, but it is a necessity if you're going to enter the city of Ironhaven. Unless you would like to purchase a permit to use magic, he points to both quorum and to Gone, because he says you look to be the type that perform. If you like to purchase a performer's permit, then the binding would not be necessary.
Yes, I would love to purchase one of those.
Yes, very well. He starts getting information from you and says, I can have those written up for you. It'll be 1 gold for the permit.
Sweet. Quorum will pay
Monsieur
that too.
Quorum, can you? Thank you, my friend. I feel like I'm racking up a debt with you.
So you quickly he writes out. He produces two written writs to perform a performance within the city. This will allow you to perform in the city, and of course, because your magic or your performance requires the use of your hands, you don't need to have your hands bound. Does anyone else here in the group that use magic? Are you also performers?
There, it's gonna be like, I don't perform, but I do.
Very well. We'll get you a writ of performance.
Sorry? No.
We'll get you a writ of performance.
No, thank you.
Oh, well, then 1 silver I shall bind. Oh, no, sorry. They don't charge that. I shall bind your hand then.
Certainly, he puts out one of his hands to be.
Okay. And he quickly does the wrap around it.
The same hand he holds his shield with.
Okay.
Left.
Okay. No problem. So after a few minutes, you quickly get the point that the guards don't agree with the binding of a magic user's hands. Apparently, they don't see it as a big problem. So they're kind of using the writ of performance to get around that for people. Of course, they're also making more money for the city by doing that too.
Makes sense.
So after your hands and your weapons are bound, he goes over the list of do's and don'ts. And he basically gives you a simplified version. And basically, it amounts to be polite and behave, and you're not going to have a problem in the city. He does give you directions to the inn, the Epoch, and it's relatively easy to find up the street. It's a beautifully done inn. It appears to be done in a stylized fairy tale castle kind of design. I mean, it's all made of wood, but it looks like turrets and things like that when you get in. But you can see quickly once you get inside, that might be the facade on the outside, but on the inside, it's just a down to business tavern and inn. There is a older woman running behind the counter that is running the place. Her name is Maiden, and she quickly arranges rooms and things like that for you if you so desire for the night.
Verret is going to split off from the party here to head to the local Temple of Horus.
Okay. Can deal with that in just a second. As you're...
He's not going to spend the night in the inn, that's why.
That's fine. Those that are spending the night in the inn go inside. You're quickly made, arrangements can be made. A decent room can be found for a copper, a private room for 3 copper. And there's both available for all of you. So that's up to you all what you spend there. The price of the room does include a meal. And the smells coming from the kitchen are absolutely mouth-watering. Yoki is sniffing the air furiously, trying to figure out what is being put in the food and everything as he goes, and you can just imagine the comments Yoki's making. Now, is anybody else going out into the city?
I am.
Okay. Berttra is?
I'm going to look for an armor shop.
Okay. It's about midday-ish, but at this point, it's not late in the evening by any demands, and there is an ordinance in place that you must be in. You must have be in your inn by sundown, but that shouldn't be a problem for you guys. We'll start with Verret as he wanders the city looking for the temples. It doesn't take him long to find a number of temples in the city. Eventually, you do, Verret, find a very small temple dedicated to Horus. When you enter the temple, it obviously has been downsized over the years. It's mainly like a small churchish like building with the symbols of Horus up on it, and there is a single, at least on duty, a single abbot there. He looks up when you enter the room, quickly taking it. Now your shield has the owl on it, correct?
Yes.
Yes. I thought it was openly displayed. I just want to make sure he quickly takes in the symbol on your armor, and he looks at you, and his eyes kind of get round. He goes, "My word, a paladin of Horus. I didn't know such still existed."
I'm gonna give him Verret's gonna give him a little bow, greet him, and he's gonna fish out the letter that he's got from the Gumtower Abbot, the introductory letter. Which I don't think we actually hashed over what that was supposed to say. So I'm assuming it's something towards the mission of he's shown me where his connection. What do you call it?
Yeah, he takes the letter, he pours through, and goes, "That old thing actually does something? Huh. This way." And he takes you to the back, back into it. He goes, "The temple is actually still here. It's just kind of, we're using it for other things." So you quickly take in as he's leading you through it. Yes, there's a small public temple, but apparently over the years, in order to make ends meet, the abbots here have built up a business that they operate around it, and they've built a wooden structure over top of the temple, kind of hiding most of the what was the original temple from sight to the general populace. But as you move back into it, you begin to recognize this is that, and this is this, and this is that, and he takes you back in the back, and it shows you the connection stones that you're looking for.
I'm gonna ask him, well, like just idle chatter, what business they've done and what's happened in the last, well, I guess 200 years.
So he begins filling you in, and he begins to explain that in order for to maintain the property and the stuff that they have here over the years, the Brotherhood of Horus, the temple here, first they did the typical things that clerics would do, healing and things like that. But as Horus's influence waned within the city, they turned their focus to also doing other things besides healing and that sort of nature, and they actually have become known in the city and actually produce a vintage of wine, though not terribly great. It's one of the better ones in the region, not something that would attract, say, attention of like the Laughing Dragon and things like that. But their wine has become quite liked within the region, and they sell that, and they begin to explain a host of other little additional things that they do in these little cottage industries that they put together. And so, and even explaining it necessitates that they would enclose an area over here to take care of that, and then enclose the area of the temple over here to take care of that, and so on. Now all you have is the main entry area. What used to be once the foyer of the temple is the actual temple now, because the rest has been dedicated to other things.
All right. Well, the idle chatter and understand that they need to do what they have to survive. I'm gonna ask why they haven't trained any paladins after everyone went missing.
He explains that the true reason why they've never trained any paladins there is they've never had any men of arms devoted to Horus in the temple.
So when everyone passed through and kind of went on that expedition, they just didn't have anybody.
Yeah, they just didn't have anybody to do that kind of training. I mean, this explains what they've kept on and what they're doing now is what they've had people that they could do, but they had no way to train anybody in the armed professions that once was trained there.
What Barrett's going to try and inspire hope into him. Well, maybe we can raise your chapter back up to its former glory once we reconnect with what did we said it was down in Burning Lands, right?
Yes.
The main,
yeah,
what would you call it? Not the main chapter, but the main
main temple.
Main temple. Yeah,
main
like
temple.
head temple. Yeah, there. Thank you. So yeah, he's gonna just try and give the little guy there clap on the shoulder and be like, once this is all fixed, perhaps we can bring Horse's name far and wide once again.
Reconnect to the main temple. How?
Verret will walk up to the little connection device, the little altar thing there, and he'll so he has the sequence of runes to connect to Gumtar, so he'll go ahead and activate it, and he'll explain like as he's doing it, like, so you put this one here, put that one there, and then you activate it with this here, and then the machine or the device whirs up, does whatever it does.
Yeah. And so you align the runes as you're explaining to him the process, and he's you can tell he's rapidly paying attention to what you're doing, because each time you manipulate the stone, a certain way, in which they've never fooled with them because they didn't think they did anything. They thought they were just artifacts of the ancient religion, and when you did it a certain way, of course, then they light up, and they light up, and they light up, and then once they're all glowing, and you speak to the abbot and Gumtar. And then the verbal response from the abbot and Gumtar comes back into the room. He's amazed and in awe. It's like, so there are still other temples.
Verret's gonna leave the explanation of the entire mission to the Gumtar abbot,
right.
But he's gonna fill in that that he was on the expedition to kind of slay or seize Sakath, and that it had gone wrong, and here he is 200 years later, yes, now looking to find out what happened to all the temples and reconnect them.
Right. So as you explain all that, so you and the other abbot explain those things to him and go through. Of course, time passes and the evening goes on for you guys. And we'll switch over to see who else was out. Berttra was out, and I think Fulmer was out. So we'll do Fulmer first. Waiting for Fulmer.
Not sure what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a armor smith.
Okay. So you wander around the city, and the city is very, it's very clean. Even the streets are clean. It doesn't take long once you figure out how their signage is set up to quickly find yourself an armorer. You walk into the armor shop, the armorers, and you can hear the ting tang, of the furnace and the hammers beating metal. As you come into the shop, a dwarf, probably about as wide as you are, almost like 3 foot wide, stocky, burly, braided beard, everything that you could think of as of a stereotype typical dwarf is what this person is. And he looks up and says, "How may I help you?"
Yo, yo, yo.
Oh,
Hey,
What was that?
it's Grun.
to Grun.
Welcome, Grun.
I gotta say one thing. Sorry about your ship, Grun.
No, Grun
Yeah,
will
sorry, Grun.
castrate you.
In all everybody's defense, it was Verrett's fault.
That's
Okay.
a nice guy.
Anyway, I'm
So-
looking for a helm.
A helm?
Yes, a helm.
What kind of helm?
The kind that covers his head.
Slap him.
I can't. He's in the country.
I'm looking for a helm of possibly far-seeing.
Oh, that kind of helm. Well, let me see here. I don't know that I have that in stock. I could possibly have one manufactured for you, though it would take quite a bit of coin.
How much coin is quite a bit of coin?
I'm looking it up, to be honest, right now. Of course, it's not cooperating with me. Oh, let's see here. Of course, I'd need the size of your head. We can get that. I can measure that. And he starts going, mumbling to himself.
Oh, like he's gonna make it?
Yes.
Got it.
He did say manufacturer.
You know, and if you can't afford the price, maybe you can work something out.
No, he's rummaging around, and he's like looking. He starts making notes.
Is he giving hints to services that he might barter for? Like
no,
in
he's
feet have
literally
these
looking
awful
things
spots.
up. There we go. It's a rare. As well. I could probably do it for you for 2,000 gold. Most of it's the enchanting, you see.
Arthur?
I'm calculating what I have.
That's what I figured. He's still
With a calculator going like, I got this much and that much, and
He says 2,000 gold. I got 1,945, 65.
you go bum a loan off somebody. You just gave a couple plat away too, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I give a plat away. Yes.
You're out by
Yeah,
yourself right now too, though.
if you need,
I'm out by myself, so I'm gonna have to pass on that for now.
Okay.
Wait, if it's a money thing, well, oh shoot, quorum's with Bertram.
Yeah.
Yeah, of
I am
course,
all,
Bertram.
I'm all by my lonesome.
Well,
yeah.
come back, but we can definitely get that together for you. But
Maybe put a
So-
deposit down.
now, it'd take me a bit of time to manufacture something like that. You understand? You'd have to give me time to actually get it put together. The helm itself, that's not hard. That's just a day, maybe a day and a half. Said, but the enchanting, I have to get one of the enchanters to work on it, and I don't have any here. That's part of where the price comes from, you see. So that'll take 2 or 3 weeks.
That's okay. I don't have the money right now.
I
I need it
understand.
to-
I understand it.
And
So-
I needed to live in this town.
Well, come
Everything
back if
costs
you
money.
need more help. Need anything else I can help you with?
Thank you, good fella.
Switch to Berttra and Coram, right?
That's the
Wow.
dude.
I didn't know if I was with Corm or not.
Corum said he was with you.
Coram says with
Yeah.
you, so
Unless you were doing something secret and didn't want quorum following you.
No. Okay. So first, I check. Is there a certain dwarf in here that lived here that I know? Backstory.
So you ask around about this personage, and a number of people point you to different parts of the town, saying, "I think he lived over here. You think you're there." You're never able to conclude. I mean, enough people know the name, but you know that he lived here at one point. But no one can nail down to you where he's at currently, or if he's still here.
All right.
But you do find enough evidence as you're walking around and talking to people that yes, he did live here for some time apparently, but apparently maybe has moved since then, or maybe he's passed since then.
Is there anywhere I can go to track down that information?
You're pointed to a hall. You're told there is a hall of records, because why is Yoki dead on my screen?
I was asking.
But there is a hall of records of town. And unfortunately, because of let me check my calendar. What day of the week is this? See what day you actually arrived in town to make sure I'm not telling you wrong here. I think you arrived on a weekend. Yeah, you did. You arrived on a weekend, so the Hall of Records won't be open again for a couple of days. Is
there anyone I could less reputably pay?
Most everybody keeps referring you back to because you asked from people, obviously. Most people continually refer you back to the Hall of Records being the best way to get the information that you want.
Is there anyone I can hire, like a private dick?
So if you start asking around about that, they do refer you to a personage who can assist you in tracking down the information. His name is Aeolus, and he is an investigator. And you're told what tavern you can locate him in.
I go to that tavern.
Okay. So it doesn't take you long to find this Aeolus. And that name seems to ring a bell from something else. I don't know where I quite grabbed it from anyway. But anyway, you find Aeolus, and he's... Well, you're just quite not sure what species he is. He's not elf. He's not a half elf, but he's not human either. But he looks like he's from one of those species. So possibly he's a half breed species or something like that. But you're not sure what one. He's got dark black hair shot through with silver. He wears kind of run-down, dilapidated clothing. And when you first approach him, he's kind of surly towards you. What do you want?
I want to find some who's special to me.
Okay.
How much?
Oh, you want me to find someone special to you? Well, I'll need a little more information. My rate's typically a silver a day if it's a local. It might take me a day. It might take me 4 or 5 days. They usually don't take more than 5 or 10 days to find someone.
All right.
If they're not hiding. Even if they are hiding, it'll take much more than 5 or 10 days.
His name's Vodrin.
Uh-huh.
He's a fairly elderly dwarf.
Uh-huh.
And then Berttra goes on to explain sort of like about height, weight,
Yeah, describing him and all that. Okay.
Yeah, any significant marks, tattoos.
Yeah. So he goes
and
into his...
she'll mention what time he would be missing by and what time he would... So what time he was probably went missing originally,
Mm-hmm.
then what time he might have cropped back up after what Berttra did. You know, when he might have reappeared into society.
Right. Okay. I'll ask around, see what I can do. Where can I find you at, lady?
We're heading to Deep Cliff, and it's a fair long way, so if you haven't got the results by then...
Okay, so you know what, you'll find me.
Yeah.
So, how much are you willing to, I mean, if this takes more than a gold piece's worth of work, do you want me to keep looking into it, or do you want me to stop and wait till you come back and report what I got at that time?
How much is it to send a messenger bottle to Deep Cliff?
Bottle service doesn't work from here to Deep Cliff. We're not on a nexus point.
Post?
Post? Yeah, you can send a post for a couple copper.
Is there any like fast sort of like messenger birds that go to Deep Cliff?
There are some. I don't know if you're willing to pay for them, but there are some.
How much would they cost?
Depends on how big of the message it is. A simple message, silver.
Wow.
2 silver.
All I want to know is where he is.
Yeah, then a couple silver if I find something.
All right. Out of the character, how far is the trip to Deep Cliff?
Deep Cliff is about 300 miles, so you're talking... Let me check my calendar because I've already marked that. Roughly knew when you get... I roughly had an idea what you guys are going to be doing, so... Let's see here. 1, 2... I think it's like 10 days. To travel it by foot, foot or by mount.
And I imagine Messenger Bird could have that or something.
Yeah. So it's about 10 days by foot or by mount to get there.
So he essentially wants a gold piece for his time.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So you make those arrangements with him?
Yeah.
Okay. He takes your gold.
Berttra will drop 4 gold on the table.
So how much does this person owe you?
Doesn't owe me anything.
Yeah. Why you want to pay so much to have it found?
He's kind of my grandpa.
Oh, it's a family thing. I'm not going to inquire as to how it's a family thing. I'm not quite sure how a dwarf would come up with a person of your beauty.
Good one. Also, if you finish in time and you make sure he's there, or he's staying where he is, or get his itinerary, shelter 2 platinum pieces, there'll be a bonus in it for you.
I'll see what I can do.
Yep, and she leaves.
Okay. Former, as you're making your inquiries around town about the Dragonkin slaves, there is a couple of people that comment though slaving is not really is not permitted to occur in the city. Slavers do often pass by the outskirts of the city, and they do remember seeing a group of slaves passing through about a year ago that had Dragonkin in it, but they don't know any details. They just remember seeing them from afar as the caravans are going by.
Going by the which way, though?
Was headed toward the west, headed toward Wolfton in that direction.
That's all I was trying to do on the way back to the inn.
Okay. Okay, anybody else scouting around the city?
There was one last place I wanted to go.
Sure.
Since I did some security work on some caravans, my backstory,
Right.
I was wondering if I'm going to search the local, basically all the pubs within a certain mile radius of the stables, find the caravanners, and see if anyone needs protection up to Deep Cliff.
Okay.
See if we can't make some money.
Yeah. So you begin hitting some of the haunts that you've hit before, because like I said, Deep Iron. You've traveled into this city before. You're not stunned by. It's always been stodgy and uptight like it is now. It's not. This is nothing new. It's a little bit more than it was in the past when you traveled to Ironhaven, but you quickly find your way into the taverns, and you know the right taverns to go to. After a few inquiries here and there, you're pointed in the direction of a caravan master, and as soon as you make the inquiries and make the appropriate signs, so that he knows that he can trust you, you do find that there is a caravan leaving in the morning headed toward Ironhaven, or not Ironhaven, toward Deep Cliff, sorry, we're in Ironhaven, and he will always welcome more protection. And the caravan, of course, this is just the organizer, not the caravan leader, but the organizer says that the caravan master will pay a silver a day plus food and mounts for the trip to Deep Cliff.
Okay. I thank him for his information, and I put down 5 gold behind the bar.
Okay.
For him to have a good time and to
All right.
celebrate.
All right. Yoki, are you doing anything in town?
Sorry, my mic was muted. I don't even know what town we're in.
You're currently in the
Ironhaven.
city of Ironhaven.
So is this his old stomping ground? I thought that rings a bell, but I can't remember if we ever decided that or not.
I can't remember if we ever decided that or not. It's not unlikely that he would, unheard of, that he might have traveled through Ironhaven. It's a fairly decent sized city.
So I apologize for coming late. So I got like thousands of questions, but I don't want to.
Okay,
I don't want this to go into a deep dive for me. So
Okay, that's fine. So as you all gather back at your tavern for the evening, and you're sitting drinking and talking. I'm sure Berttra shares that she has potential job lined up, or a group that they could travel with. You could travel with, and that sort of thing is going on. And I'll let you RP that here in just a moment. Actually, I'll go ahead and let you do that now.
So, there's a caravan leaving. They'll give us mounts and pay and food all the way up to where we need to go. Well, Deep Cliff, not all the way, you know what I mean.
If you've been here before, would it be better for us to travel as a smaller group or a larger group? What do we need to be afraid of on the way there?
Probably scaring away some things that don't want to attack a herd, but then you're just making yourself more appealing for the big things that need a lot of meat to eat. It's kind of... Bertram will think about what time of year it is and what dangers, and
Yeah.
sort of like...
Bertram knows, traveling in caravan is always easier because of this the varying times of season and the items. Usually traveling in group is usually the better solution when you can do that. And it's not to say a group like yours couldn't easily make the journey. It just might run the situation where even something bigger that would normally attack a large caravan would look at a small group and definitely attack the small group.
Gotcha. Okay. Perfect. Corum just wanted to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's probably best to go with him.
Okay.
Crap, Yoki got some big.
Anything? I just checked my backstory. We just said he's originally from there, but that was it. But he got called to the ocean, so there's nothing more detailed than that. So unless there's something that Yoki would know about the city that maybe someone else wouldn't, then I'll just sit in the background.
The only thing that Yoki really notices is from when he left, which was quite a while ago, there seems to be a few more extra mandates on the list of city behaviors that wasn't there back years ago. And the city guard seems to be more prevalent around the city, and also the city seems a lot cleaner than it was years ago.
Okay.
But that could just be the changing of the Lord too.
So new lord since I was here.
Since you were here, yes.
Okay.
He's not new by any means, but since Yoki left, yes.
Okay. Is it something I would have known before, or is it just like some random name?
You recognize the name, but it's no one you really knew or anything of that nature. So as you guys are talking and debating and discussing, and Yoki's sharing about some of the places and he recognizes from when he was here when he lived here, and Berttra is sharing, and a person arrives at your table. They are wearing a red cloak with the hood up and the cloak pulled across them in the front. And they arrive at the table almost silently. And they take in the group. And look at this someone and goes, "Are you the travelers from Gumta's stronghold?" The voice is cultured and deep.
Were we like hiding from dragons?
Are we?
Yes, we are.
We're like trying to be pretty incognito.
Yes.
Did you guys ever tell that to Gon and Yoki?
Nope.
I mean, it's been what, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11,
There would have been plenty of days for you to say this, so it's just a question of would you guys have said that to us? Because otherwise, Gon will be not lying about it. So would you guys?
If you're asking me, I'd say Grun would definitely make that known to everybody.
Grun would whine about everything.
Well, not as long as he's on the boat, he'd been fine.
Night, babe.
Well, I'm not sure where we all hail from, but we are adventurers. Need help with something.
Are you the same adventurers who stopped the Bandit Kingdom? Or Bandit
I
King?
can safely say I was not. Look at the rest of the group and be like, I don't know what you guys have done. And here, defeat bandit kings.
Who's the Bandit King?
It's the Horn. Oliver Horn?
Yes, Oliver Horn. So you are that group?
Oh, I remember him.
It can be whatever group you want. If it means coin in my pocket, then yes, I was part of that group.
You're not quite what I expected. But regardless, so his cloak parts just enough, or their cloak parts just enough for a hand to emerge and a scroll to be deposited on the table. The scroll is written on, or the wrapped up scroll is bound with a red ribbon.
Is that any significance to any of us? The red ribbon, red robes, any of that stuff?
Give me a history check from the lot of you.
From all of us?
Yes.
Look at Gone go.
Yeah, gone. Look at that.
Does it?
He's been day drinking all day too, so I don't know how good his actual history check should be, but y'all went out. He had nothing to do.
So God believes the history he makes up, is what you're saying.
That's what I say, yeah.
Gone when he's sober believes the history that he makes up, so.
I'm not rolling it because I'm not there.
Okay, yeah, that's right, you're not. Okay.
We joined the party in the morning.
Yeah. Okay. So it doesn't take much of a look for you all to realize that you're standing in the presence of a ruby scribe. Or well, the ruby scribe is standing at the edge of your table because you're not standing, you're sitting having drinks.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then that kind of changes everything.
Because the Lady Adira requests your presence in Deepcliff. Details are in the letter.
She says that to everybody or just someone in particular?
He says it to the group in general.
Okay.
And who is this Lady Adira?
The document will explain.
Oh, you're no fun, my friend. Like a drink while you sit with us?
No. And
anyone reach for the document?
Well, Yogi's about to. He's like, "Is that thing trapped?"
Oh,
what the fuck's up here?
Tom will grab it if Berttra. I assume Berttra probably wants to hold on to it.
No.
I just don't. I just don't want Yogi
really
to
her
get
background.
You hop up on the table and grab it.
So, Corum, as you are you going to read the document or just hold it?
Yeah, I'll read it.
Okay. So you quickly, as you read through it, you realize this is a summons by Lady Adira. Actually, her full title would be Head Scribe of the Deepcliff chapter of the Ruby Scribes, Adira. And she is requesting your presence in Deepcliff to assist with a matter of importance, relevant to the safety of the Grom Highlands.
Where am I? I'm looking at the map. Is that a place on the map?
Yeah, the mountains to your north.
Oh, okay.
Is the
Oh,
Grom
I said
Islands.
Grom
That's where we're
Islands.
going.
All
Yeah, Grom
that, mate.
Islands. Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of territory to go bananas.
About the issues in the Grom. I like the name of that. It's actually pretty cool. I'll hand that note to Berttra after reading it.
Okay.
It's in Dwarvish, isn't it?
No, actually, it's not. It's in common.
Oh, thank God. Bertram breathes a sigh of relief as she sees she can actually read the contracts.
Well, it's actually not a contract. It's just a summons.
Close enough.
It did have some contractual lingo, I think.
Arthur, are you having fun pinging the
Yeah,
party
no,
token?
yeah. I'm listening to everybody and distracting my mind at the same time.
Okay, just checking. Okay, so the scribe now has taken half a step to your right, out of line of you, and has produced a book and has begun writing in the book. But as the scribe is writing in the book, they are not watching or what they're writing at all. They're instead watching everything that's going on in the room.
Like a court reporter recording everything.
Sort of.
What? How? Is that my fault?
As the
Crappy
uncomfortable
food you'll
silence
be
that a
eating
Berttra
every day.
part apparently causes.
She just wants to see how accurate the book is. She's
I'm
like,
gonna read the book.
does it record even that?
Yes, so
Oh, yeah.
the scribe records everything that happens in the room.
Remember, this is their memory the next day, right? More or less.
What's Bertra's part sound like?
Really don't need to know.
A meaty tuber.
God.
God. Okay.
Yoki, make something that helps with that. Bind you up a little.
Yoki's the problem with that.
Nonsense.
Waiter, can we have some real food?
So yeah, the tavern that you're being served, the tavern is serving, and so the food smells delicious in here. Yoki's
I'm sure
probably been
Yoki thinks
sniffing all
that.
night trying to figure out what's in it.
Gon will use as much of his platinum to cover the food and the drink for everyone because he was given a platinum. So
Okay.
drinks and food is on my generosity and mostly Fulmer's.
Sweet.
Just let me know what I have left at the end of the night.
All right.
So, anyone know where our friend Barrett ran off to? He's been gone all
He's
night.
going visiting a lot of priests, and you know how priests are.
I don't. My god and my priest tend to frequent places like this, so I don't know what a typical priest usually acts like.
Not in places like this.
Oh, that's boring.
That's
Sure he's just not
Barrett-
off seeing an old flame or a girl from his past?
No, Barrett doesn't go for that kind of thing.
Too bad.
From what I understand, a girl from his past would be like, what, 800 years old?
Yeah, haven't you met an elf? They live
160 some years
ages.
old. And they're human, so
Isn't
no,
our
they
friend
wouldn't be alive.
Oh, unless his girlfriend was an elf.
I have my
Saying
doubts about that.
We don't know. Get that man love interest by the time we're done. What's the plan for tomorrow then? Are we leaping off right away to make our way to? Did you say we were going?
Deep Cliff.
We're gonna hitch a ride with some cartiers.
We're going to run
there anything that
shotgun
we need
for
to-
caravan.
Is there anything else that we'd need to pick up? Any clothing options that we need to get? Thicker clothes, I assume.
You might. Berttra says as she dusts her wyvern armor.
I guess dumb question. How did we get here? Did we walk to town? Did we get a ride somehow?
No, Grun dropped us off here.
Your poor boat.
I thought the boat couldn't make it all the way to town. I thought it couldn't make it up the skinny
Only
road.
one boat can.
The Chase Knight could make it.
The other one's sitting back
with
at
the river
Bygrade,
captain
whatever it is.
that Grun
Okay.
hired to get it up.
Okay.
The Duchess Truth is at Bygrass with Kith waiting for Grun to return. Grun made arrangements to come back through here every so often to check for the party.
Okay. Those Bygrass is here?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. And the Chase Knight is all the way up here into town.
Up at the end of the river, yes.
There's a river there.
The Chase Knight actually would have left, wouldn't it? Because I thought they were
Yeah.
charging them,
Yeah.
so they were dipping.
Yeah.
He
The
ran
dock
like
was
a chicken
charging you
shit.
like so many gold an hour to be at port, and Grun wasn't happy with that.
Shit, no.
So
Back in
Grun
2
was like, yeah, I'll be back in 2 weeks.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
Jason, is it too late for? I know that we had to be in the inn at a certain time. Is it too late for me to hop out real quick and just buy some winter clothing?
Yeah. It's
I
actually
don't
after-
need to do a whole thing for it.
It's actually
Okay.
after sunset, but you could have done that while the party was out and about, so it's not a problem.
Perfect.
I mean, you knew you were headed north, so.
Did that
So
cloak-
any of us that needed winter clothing, we'll just assume that they
Would
got it.
assume that
And,
you picked it up, yeah. Any mundane items like that you could have easily picked up here in town.
And then Jason, I would have casted identify at some point in time on that cloak. Is there like a specific name for it or anything?
No, it's just it will keep you from freezing or from overheating in the desert.
Okay, perfect. Cloak of comfort.
Cloak of comfort.
That's a good name for it, actually.
All right, so are we all settling down for the night?
When you cast that, Bertra's book happened to be nearby. And the book she purchased. The back portion of the book was glowing.
Interesting. If I see it, I'll point it out to her.
Do I notice if that's true?
Well, you can't see the glow. He saw it because of the identify spell he was casting on his cloak.
You're not fucking with me, are you?
No, let me see it. I swear I saw it glowing for a moment.
Really?
Well, there's only one way to find out.
Hmm. She insights.
You
Did she keep a hand on the book?
Okay. So, Corm, as you flip it over and examine it, it appears the back cover of the book
It's what?
It has some runes on it, or has something had been scratched into it that is not visible.
Oh, okay. So we got to. I say this is what he was doing with that magic quill you got, where you retrace it and make things visible, right? Right. Totally got that wrong.
Yeah, you have to like focus on it, don't you, or something?
And you have
There
to
was the instructions for
complete.
making
You have to complete the set of runes, or finish the runes that is partially drawn, and then concentrate on it. At least finish
and
where
then
they
you
were
can see.
at, so you can see what's in it.
Can I assist Corum in doing?
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
or vice versa.
Yeah. So a little bit of work, a little bit of time. The two of you are able to use the quill, and when you do, or when you complete it properly, it takes a little bit of time. A set of text appears written on the inside back cover.
What does it say?
So as you read through the text, it's a note from the author. And he goes on to say that while many people thinks that he is insane for his beliefs here and what he's put in the book, he has evidence and has found evidence of societies that existed before the races. And then in the additional information that he's in there, he goes on to give a location and a place where where you can find his documentation of his beliefs.
Corm's going to try to commit that to memory and then plan
Okay.
to jot it down before bed.
Okay.
Do I recognize the location?
Yeah. What is the?
As he begins to describe it, yeah. He is referencing a place called Angkor Wat. Anhgor Wat, W-A-T. Someone's pinging it on the screen right now.
So not me.
Somebody may have read that name and super interested in it.
Angkor Wat.
Angkor Wat. And
Angkor
Angkor
You gotta do a
Wat.
shift click. I didn't see where you're pinging.
We got it. It's northwest.
Yeah, it's northwest of where you guys are at.
I'll draw an arrow.
Yeah.
Okay, now I see it. Thank you.
Angkor Wat, and you would know this, Berttra, because of having lived in the region, is the ruins of an ancient city. An ancient city made of iron.
Wasn't it the dwarven capital you said for a while? I remember doing a...
Yes, that is what the common belief is, that Angkor Wat was the dwarven capital for a while.
But it's not Deep Cliff, isn't it?
Yes, currently it's
Okay.
see the dwarven power
And-
sets in Deep Cliff.
Is that any at all... How far away is that from, like, ogreish territory, or sort of like...
The ogres range all through the highlands, but the majority of the ogres stuff is much further north of in Midgard. If you look on the map here, if you scroll up, most of the ogre territories and the tribes that you were associated with are in and around where the words Grom Highlands actually is on the map.
So, do I know anything about the tribes or people that settle sort of like around this area?
Well, you do in a way, because there were a couple of tribes that attended the gathering, and you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That came from that part of the mountains, and they always shared their stories and things like that. So you do know a few of the legends and stuff associated with the area. And the big thing that always stuck out to you was the ancient city of Iron that used to belong to the dwarves. Mainly what you remember from it is that no one goes into those ruins anymore, and they haven't for years.
who's the? Did we pick up the name of the person whose journal it is?
No, I didn't actually give you a name.
Okay.
His name, the name on the cover, the last name is Ronto.
Got it.
Okay.
Dave, Billy, Dave.
One of these days I'm going to make a D&D campaign. I'm going to use just everyday names.
That would be good.
Steve, it's really important that you and Alan go over here.
Yeah.
That's what they do in like Waking Online. That's what they do, and you know what I mean.
No, Keith, don't unleash the Balrog. No.
Exactly.
I always just do crazy spelling for my campaign run, where I just do crazy spelling, but they do all get pronounced like Dave or Derek, or there's a lot of Dereks.
So, but yeah, you guys are settling down for the evening. The caravan leaves doesn't leave early in the morning, but does leave in the morning hours. If you decide to travel with the caravan.
That was the paid gig that
Yes.
Berttra was talking about earlier?
That was the paid gig. And they provide mounts.
It's low pay, but yeah. It's like, we'll make 10 silver. Or something, because it's 10 days there. So, silver a day.
Plus food and mounts.
Yeah. Yeah, not having to worry about your food. It's safety in numbers.
Not worry about food. Yoki will make sure you eat.
That's okay, Yoki.
Fine.
Or Yoki, I'll always eat anything you make.
That's good to know.
We've already got your funeral plot ready for you.
Can't enjoy life unless you experience all of it.
So, at what point does Vert meet back up with everyone before everyone leaves?
I'm gonna leave without you if you're not there early enough.
That's what I mean. I was like, Vert's not going to hear this part, so.
I mean, we could burst in on you and the priest, if you want.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What a priest and a man do in there? Oh, no. Never mind.
I did not need to hear that.
So,
well, the giant
So
Yoki
Gon still thinks it's a prostitute. I don't believe this whole priest thing.
So that morning, just about the time that you guys have finished your breakfast, like I said, they're leaving in the morning hours, not the early morning hours, to make their departure. And just as time is about to run out for you guys to leave to go to the caravan and meet up with the caravan leader, is when Verrett shows up. And literally,
There he is, champion. Come back, my friend.
It's literally one of those things.
Well rested.
Verrett is walking in the door as you guys are walking out the door.
So, look of surprise, Pikachu face. My friends, where are you all leaving? I've just finished finished at the temple here, and everything seems to be in order now.
That is.
Can we just pretend like we didn't forget about him?
Okay.
Oh, there you are. I thought you were out getting the breakfast.
Corm says as he wipes the sausage off his mouth.
Verrett's
No,
like,
no, you don't say that.
You've already broken your fast? Oh, you actually want a deception? Oh, I will totally. Wait,
Sure you.
no,
That's
sure.
why that was the sarcastic.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. Oh, there you go.
You're only 21.
Nat 20. Since Verrett just reaches out and flicks a little bit of sausage that fell off your mouth, off your shirt, and says, "Yes, breakfast. I'm sure you must be hungry."
I could eat.
Yeah, I didn't see anybody roll anything.
It's rolling directly to me.
What a
actually rolled
turd.
21.
If you must know, it was a horrible breakfast. Not as good as I normally make.
Well,
Glad
I'll have
you're
you
back,
know,
Verrett.
I broke my fast with the abbot of the local temple, and he informs me that while they have limited contact, there is still a chapter in Deepcliff we may that I would wish to visit.
Yeah.
We're
You went and
going
saw a
there.
brothel. Let's go.
He's gonna look straight up affronted at.
He wasn't there when we took the deal to take the caravan.
No.
Exactly. I have no idea what's going on right now.
Yeah, he has no idea where you guys are going.
I've just told you that I've settled all my matters here.
Okay. Well, perfect timing. You get first watch.
Oh, so we
First
got.
watch on what?
We're heading
Plan
north.
on the way.
Oh, nothing much.
Rick.
Just looking out for bandits, dragons, wyverns, mountain tigers, lions.
It's gonna look a little
Deceptive
confused. Like
people.
where are we going?
Avalanches, rock slides,
We're
mountains.
going for a little ride north.
And when I say mountains, I mean proper mountains.
Okay, so I think by this point he'd maybe get the gist of it that the party's preparing to travel north, and someone will fill him in
Yeah.
exactly what we're doing on the way. Yeah, when we go
So,
with the caravan.
Yeah, so as Bertra's listing off the the duties, responsibilities, of the care of your job, you round the corner to the outer part of the city, and then you get stopped by the guard as you're going down to the caravan, and as an exchange, and all the bindings are taken off, your money's refunded as you're leaving the city, and you make your way down to the caravan, and you realize you're going to be guarding this caravan now. When Berttra signed on for the caravan, she never asked the size of the caravan. There is 45 wagons in this caravan.
Lord, it's just us.
I feel like it's probably not just us.
No, there is another 10 guards beyond you all that's traveling with the caravan. And then each one of the wagons has their own guard or armed person bearing arms sitting on the wagon along with the driver itself. So there's probably a total of 60 guards guarding this caravan as it's heading north. These wagons, let me describe these wagons to you. The wagons themselves are humongous. The wheels are easily 7 foot tall. There are Bertra's barely taller than the wheels of these wagons. The wagons are double width in size. Of course, that is easily accommodated on this road because this road is very wide and well cared for. Well, at least where you're at now currently is. But the wagons themselves are a double width wagon. There is 3 axles on the wagon, so a total of 6 wheels. Each wagon is being pulled by a team of oxen. These oxen, there are 6 in each team. And then there's a driver that's driving the team. When the caravan leader sees you, he motions and waves to Berttra and points to a group of animals that are tied up on the side. Those are yours, he says. And he points to a group of mounts.
Elephant.
There are horses there for each one of you. There is a specific breed of horse that's common in the mountains. You've seen them before, Berttra. They're akin to a Clydesdale as far as appearance from our world, but they're bigger than a Clydesdale. And the caravan leader says back, obviously the big one's for you, Berttra.
Hello, beauty.
So-
Bertram says she comes up to the horse.
Now this horse is actually, it's big enough for you to ride. Now you still make the horse look small, but it's big enough for you to ride. Ken is not proficient in horse driving.
Did somebody get those reins?
Do I?
Yeah.
Do I recognize by any of the guards?
A few of them seem familiar, but most of them have helmets or face guards down, or somewhat covered for the trail. So you seem to recognize a few, and a couple of them that are in there. There's obviously 2 or 3 groups of guards, that travel on and off. And there's one group that you recognize the sigil on the backs of their armor. It's a group of brothers that do this for a living, and you recognize their sigil. But they're way up at the front of the column. They don't see you currently. And no sooner are you mounted or onto wagons doing your job than the caravan begins to move out.
So out of character, what in the hell is Yoki gonna ride or drive other than just find a nice soft spot on a wagon somewhere?
He can very well do that. There's no
Okay.
reason why it doesn't have to be mounted. There's a mount there for him to use if he wants it, but there's a whole
Giant
bunch
horse?
of
Little pony?
You can even ride side by side with the cart driver.
Yeah.
A goat? Mountain goat?
Yeah. So the first few. Go ahead.
I didn't realize you were also saying you can't ride a horse, Yoki, because Gon definitely would have no experience riding a horse.
Yeah, and you can very well easily, take a spot on one of the wagons as well. So the first few days, the first day or so out of the town, out of the city, it's pretty flat, but then it starts to become slowly hilly, and that carries on for 3 or 4 days. And the whole time that you're going northward, the mountains loom in the foreground of you. And those mountains raise up, and they're snow-covered peaks. And before long, within 3 to 4 days, you're in the mountains, winding through the passes. It takes a total of 10 days to make the traverse to Deep Cliff. And though there's a few things that happens along the way, nothing that the guards or you can't turn away. Mostly dealing with game or animals, things like that. Nothing of note for you as a party. You arrive in Deep Cliff. Well, let me just describe it this way. You turn out of a narrow chasm that you've been following for the last couple of hours. And you guys have been really nervous watching the peaks and the trails along the edge, particularly you, Berttra. You know this is a prime spot for attacks. And the caravan makes almost a 90-degree turn out of this chasm into a wide open canyon. And the road ahead begins to rise up. And as you look ahead, you realize the road forks and the other road goes on for a bit, on down and following the stream bed. But the caravan's taking the rising road. And the rising road is not just a road, it's a bridge. And you begin rising up against this sheer cliff to your right. And it's a gentle rise. And you get partway up it, and then it switches back on itself and continues to go up. And as you look down, you realize you're now hundreds of feet above that valley floor. And you look above you, and you can see another switchback yet to come. And you can see that the columns supporting this road are carved into the living rock. They're beautifully carved. And as you hit the second switchback, you can begin to see the walls that ring the top of this cliff. And they're carved from the living rock itself. And they're ornamented with dwarven sigils. You've arrived in Deep Cliff. You pass through the gate. And at first, those who've never been to Deep Cliff think that the gate is the gate to the city. But as you pass through the gate, the walls shrink away to your left and to your right, running the out rims of what you now realize is a huge cliff face. Ahead of you is green pasture land, wide and deep. You see neat rows of gardens and fields. Off to the far right in the distance, maybe a quarter mile away, you see pins and structures, and ahead of you, a massive wall. It's maybe a half a mile away, or maybe further, across this huge flat. The massive wall is worked stone. Going up that wall, you see a massive doorway. And as you look at the wall beside the door, you begin to notice, as you close, balconies and windows. The city of Deep Cliff doesn't set on the mesa, it sets in the mountain, physically inside the mountain. The doorway, as you pass beneath it, is larger than anything you've ever seen. This doorway is high enough that both of Grun's ships stacked on top of each other, masts and all, could pass through these doors without touching.
As we go through, I'm gonna be like, do you reckon they shut them ever?
On the side of each one of the, and as you make this comment, you look to the side and you see huge metal doors. Going down the middle of the road, and you're kind of off to one side, the wagons are, is a pair of wide metal tracks leading into the mountain. As you travel, good.
I was to say like that the doors would slide on, or like
No,
like
as
vehicular,
like a vehicular track leading into the mountain.
Okay.
As you travel into the mountain, it goes straight and flat, deep into the mountain. You travel for quite a ways. As the sun begins to fade behind you, those of you who don't have dark vision are relieved to see that the rock is covered with a bioluminescent lichen of some kind that lights the cavern in a low light. And as you open up into the cavern, and the caravan leader hooks the caravan to the right around one of the first wide-angled streets, you behold before you one of the, or a part of the city of Deep Cliff itself. In front of you is a huge bowl. This bowl is humongous. Running around the top of the bowl is a road, and into the cliff, into the sheer rock itself, you see structures and buildings, and the caravan leader pulls the carts up to a stop and signals for a stop. And he makes the signs and begins discussing with the dwarves. And within a short time, stuff starts being pulled away and caravan wagons departing. The leader comes by and pays each one of you, and as you're waiting for your turn to be paid, as he goes through each one of the soldier groups, there, you begin to look at the city below you. And I do mean below you. The city itself sits in a humongous bowl, and there are 5 tiers to the bowl with a huge ramp going down in 5 different places from this particular bowl. Each tier is at least 20 to 30 feet high, and each tier is also at least 50 to 100 feet wide. The ramp goes all the way down to the bottom, and at the bottom is a lake. In the middle of the lake is an island, and sitting upon that island is a huge towered structure that reaches up above and almost even with the city itself. The top of the tower is made completely of metal and narrows to a point at the top. Each one of the rings of the 5 layers of this bowl is a portion of a city, an underground city. And you can see 5 spokes leading off from this tunnel going to other parts of the city. Welcome to Deep Cliff, home of the dwarves.
Have we seen many dwarves on our trip in?
The closer you got to the deep cliff, particularly once you come up onto the plateau, there are dwarves everywhere.
Okay.
And
Because I remember you said
literally looking out of the city, you can see people and dwarves, not just dwarves, but you can see people moving everywhere in this city.
do we see big people, like 8 feet tall people?
None that big, at least not from where you're standing at currently, sticks out to you. But you do see human-sized people and larger races, though the vast majority of the of the residents seem to be made up of dwarves, gnomes, goblins, fewer goblins than of the other races, but seem to be made up of the smaller races. But predominantly the city is made up of dwarves.
Pretty cool.
Dwarves. Not much for food, but they got some good ale, I imagine.
So, Corm's just kind of racking his brain. The outside of this, are we like? I'm trying
You're
to
in
think
the
where
mountain.
we stable the horses at. Did we do that up top in those pasture lands?
Nope, in the city itself.
Oh wow. Okay, so we just take the horse directly into the
Yeah.
mountain, and it's just the paths are carved out. Okay.
Carved in old, very old.
Yeah. Do the mounts coming from shoot, I can't remember where the Iron Haven are they like would they be like used to this, or is this kind of freaking them out?
It didn't bother them at all.
Okay. All right.
Now, each one, just as you begin to explore the city, each tier of the bowls of that bowl you're on is the equivalent of a small town into itself. The top tier is mostly warehouses, and so is this next tier down. But as you go on down, there's more shops and homes and things like that. Like I said, there are 5 spokes that come off of this bowl that you're on, and that leads to 5 other bowls, smaller but similar in construction to this one.
Should we inquire with anyone as to where we can find the ruby scribes within the city?
Isn't that the tower in the center?
Is that the center one, or is it the?
So you making a couple quick inquiries there, with the other guards and the people, and before you can even begin to make the inquiry, Berttra says, "That tower is not the Ruby Scribes. That's one of the Lord's manors."
Oh, okay.
But as to inquiring about the Ruby Scribes, it doesn't take long in your queries that you're pointed to one of the other branches. In that way, tier 2, that you're given an address to go to, basically.
Oh, okay, got it. They have it sectioned off. It'd be like IP address or something.
Yeah.
Level 1, that goes 1 through 5 or something.
Yeah,
For each of the main...
they got all, it's all organized and set up, so you're given directions to where the Ruby Scribes headquarters are at. And that's where we'll leave you tonight.
Cool.
All right.
Let me go stop the recording real quick.
We made a deep cliff.